Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Selling to Get Her. Today I've upgraded a little bit to a action camera, and we're out at Lake Hefner. And as you can see, the water's dropping pretty dramatically, about 5 or 6 foot low. I don't know how you use the zoom on this thing yet. Maybe there is no zoom. I'll figure it out next episode. But anyway, the floating docks over by the boat ramp, they are no longer floating. They are at an angle. But more importantly today, coming over here to our main topic for the day. And we're going to call it Two Pillars Under a Bridge, better known as Two Rivers Under a Bridge. Just some more footage of the low water. Okay folks, we're back. You get the unedited, unrehearsed, mostly impromptu type video. Back to what we were talking about since I figured out the zoom. So the main topic today is going to be called Two Pillars Under a Bridge, better known as Two Rivers Under a Bridge. And we'll get to it here in just a few minutes. Okay folks, here's our main topic. Going over the bridge. I know, go home and slap your knee. It's a knee slapper comic. But anyway, back to reality. Here's another view of some of our boat slips. The drought we're under. You have to climb down on these boats nowadays. Usually when the lake is full, you have to step up onto the boats. And look at this drop. We're in desperate need of some water. There's already one marina out here that has told everybody to haul their boats out for the season, and they can no longer use the marina. And that's kind of sad when you're having to pay several $1,000s a year to keep your boat out here. You can see the water line on the rocks over on the side. And also reason why we're doing this video today is there's some boats like this one over here. I don't know if you can see it, how it's tilted sideways. But if they were tied up correctly, it would be a lot easier for somebody to come through and retie their ropes. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. How to tie your dock lines up with the Three Rivers Under the Bridge method that we hear people refer to. And after we do this little video of the proper way tied up, we'll walk around a little bit, point out some of the boats that are in distress, tied up too tight. People don't come check on them. They sit out here for a month or two. The owners never show up. It's kind of like the boats are forgotten about. And you see this in many marinas throughout the country. And it's kind of sad because there's lots of people that would love to take care of the boat for the owner if they just gave them access to. And it'd be a lot better shape than some of these that end up sinking. So with the water level so low, you can come over here, go down the steps. But the problem is sometimes, because the freeboard on the sailboats are kind of high, it's hard to step back up and over. But what I typically do, we always call it walking the plank. You gotta be careful, good balance. But see this narrow beam? I'll show you how skinny it is compared to my foot. We just walk the plank all the way down, and then we step over on the boat, or down in this case. Okay, we're gonna watch a little introduction video give this other guy some credit. There seems to be a lot of these little videos out here of how to do it. So let's watch this, guys, then we'll go practice on our own.
Start at the far horn, 1 turn around the base, 2 figure eights, finish with a locking turn. If the last turn looks like a bridge over 2 rivers, you nailed the textbook Cleat hitch.
Okay, we're up above deck. Let's check this out, see if it looks similar to what it was in the video. We have a lot more rivers going, but hey, we have a short tail sitting here. So let's untie it. So we're going to go a backwards motion. Oh, there's that 2 rivers and a bridge. Look. And he talked about going forward. So the line should be pulling on the backwards angle here. If it was coming this way, it would be putting a wrong twist on it or some funky method coming up front. So as he was talking about in the video, it's pulling us forward to the anchor point. And yeah, I know things look a little sloppy and run down, but this is real life, not some Hollywood studio. Okay, here we go. Back to untying. So you got your cleat, you got your rope coming from the direction it's pulling the boat. Go around the back end of it, the far end, so you can pull, and when you pull tight, you pull the boat forward. And on the nose, it would be the reverse. You'd be pulling the boat backwards. Then you know you have it in the right direction. So we go around, 1 full or half round, up over, make the X, and then we'll give it the twist, or the magic twist, however you want to look at it. And there it is, folks. So you could have 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet of extra tail left. What to do with it? You can leave it like that, dangling, looks sloppy. You can continue the motion, just wrap it in circles and give it a hard pull, nice and neat, no loose lines laying around. Or if you think you need the extra security, which you don't, because that tightens as it locks in tighter, you could continue the figure eights, and like it was when I got here, you could do it again. And put another bridge over it and lock it in. So that's our little tutorial, as we're going to call it today, the 2 pillars under the bridge. So let's check out some of these other tie-up jobs. I'm not going to get on other people's boats, but I'll get down and show you. We have some type of knot work over here that comes back, just a loop tie off around the horn. Can't really see it back in the back, but I can't really tell how it's tied off. Here's some other odd examples. You can tell it's not the proper method. And what happens when the water drops and puts a real heavy bind, I mean, these boats weigh between 200 and 500 pounds depending on which boat. It puts so much of a bind on the ropes and the horns, you can't physically undo it. It gets to a point where you have to cut it. But if it's tied up right with the 2 pillars in a river, it's a lot easier to undo under pressure. Here's another boat. They've already slung it up for the year. I'll have to be doing that with mine in next foot or 2 of it dropping. we use these big cargo straps on these rebars sticking out of the pillar. Sling it under the boat, just like if you were going to pull it out with a crane. Same type of setup. Here's a good example of it's done the right way. Lines are pulling the boat backwards. Pressure, the torque point, the two pillars in the river. Both of them are done correctly. Here's a good example of you might have crew on your boat. One of them knows how to tie it up correctly. The other one might kind of be imitating you, but they're not for sure how you do it. So it's a good thing to go with your crew. Make sure they tie it up right. And if you see that they didn't, I'm sure they would appreciate knowing the proper way to do it. Over here, both of these are tied up correctly. I know it's kind of hard to tell. And I did figure out the zoom, and it's on maximum zoom, which is only 2 times. So I can't really zoom in too far. But hey, I'm doing what I can for you guys. I'm no professional by any means. And you get what you get. And I'd rather give you content versus spending days and days of editing. This boat's a friend of ours that recently bought it. Oh, probably a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And we're looking at how they have theirs tied up in the front, and they do have it properly. And that's another twist that you see a lot of sellers and boaters do. They take that big long tail instead of multiple wraps. Even though they did do a little bit of wrapping here to use it up, they just coiled it up in a nice neat spiral, so it's not a tripping hazard. Nobody gets stuck on it. Okay, we'll head to the other side over here. See if we see anything interesting. Another thing you can do when you're out here walking the docks to see if there's any boats in distress because of low water, you can quickly recognize, if you see kind of in the middle of the screen, the mast that's leaning towards over towards the right, the boat's tilted. So you can quickly scan the mast, and any of them that aren't pointing straight up and down, they could be in distress. So we'll get a better view of it here in a little bit. Okay, on one side we have it tied up properly. The other side, it's been through these droughts many times out here, and the water got low, the boat wasn't checked up on frequently enough, and it tore the horn out of the fiberglass because so much weight was put on it. So on Sundays out here we have a group of Sea Scouts that always meet out, and this is one of the boats they frequently use. They always have their lines nice and neat and tidy, the proper horn tie up, the extra rope coiled up nice and neat on deck. And this crisscross method, there's different views, but this is mainly to hold it in place without any shifting. Okay, this is a boat that's not looked at very often, and it seems to be that way on a regular basis. The back end, I'll get another angle in a second, but the back end is out of the water. I don't have the zoom, so I can't show you how the horn's tied up, but it's not tied up where you can easily go lower the back end. There's a lot of pressure on it, and when there's a lot of pressure on poorly tied knots, it just gets bound up and you can't undo it. You end up having to cut the rope. And up here, they just have the rope tied on the, what do you call it? The stainless steel tubing on the bowsprit area. Reason being, you can see this patch underneath it. It used to have a horn previously, and it's been ripped out. different angle, show you how the back end is out of the water. You can't see it very well. Okay, here we go. We can go down the steps over here and take a look at it. And if these are your boats and you're viewing them and seeing them, I'm not bashing you. I'm just giving you a call out to come take care of your boats better, or assign somebody that you know that would love to have the opportunity to enjoy a sailboat, that can't afford it or don't have a place for it. But here you go. The back end's lifted out of the water. Okay, here's the boat that we talked about from across. That boat over there is just out of the water. It's the one with the straps that we looked at. This is the boat we looked at from the other side. Probably can't see it, but there's no horn on the back. It's been previously ripped out. The dock lines are tied to the winch. Let's take a look at the other side of it. Try and get it flat so you can see that it is heeled over. The mast is leaning, just showing how tight it is on the right side compared to the loosey left. Yeah, I trip over my words occasionally. And there's actually nothing tied up over on this left side. They do have a horn back there, but it's not tied on to anything. Actually, if you look down below the rope, it was, but it's broken already. You have the new line up top. Down below the rope is frayed where it's already snapped. So what's going to happen with this boat is this dock line in the back corner that's on the winch is going to finally get enough weight and it's going to snap. The back end is going to drop. Since we got the front tied up, if the front rope doesn't break, it'll keep on raising the nose up in the air as the water drops, and then water will start coming over the back of the boat. It'll flood the back of the boat, put several more thousands of pounds of water weight on it, and pull it down even further, sinking it, and the front line will finally snap because all the weight, and this will be another sunken boat. It seems like every year out here we have between 2 and 5 that are officially sunk and salvaged, and they have to get a diving crew to bring it back up and haul it out. So I think this video is starting to ramble the same old story over and over. Here's a mess. The nose is caught on the steps, completely out of the water. Here, I'll put the camera down flat. You can see the angle of the boat. So this is going to be one of those that back end gets flooded and sinks. And the problem with this is, what I really hate is these outboard motors. I mean, they're not cheap. $2,000 to $4,000. They get ruined along with the boat. The other rough thing out here is the cement fillers. When they're not tied up good, you start rubbing against the cement, wearing down the rubber rails and the fiberglass. Alright folks, well, we greatly appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Again, we are not professional editors, nor do we want to learn how to spend hours and hours editing a video. So, hope you like it for what it is, and you guys have a great day. Oh, I'm back. One last thing. Yes, there are boats that I have tried to save and loosen and take the pressure off the dock lines, but then again, you run the risk of liability. Something happens to the boat, you touched it 1 week earlier, now it's your fault. You could be liable for boat damage. And there are people out here that do give you permission to take care of their boat if you see something that's needed, and there's other people that are very stern and strict. Absolutely do not touch my boat. So there's all kinds. You just do what you can.